Hey everybody, welcome to another real estate video. This is Javier Vidana, the real estate YouTube guy here in Phoenix, Arizona, helping you accomplish your home goals. So if you saw the title, you're a fan of the channel, you're probably saying, well, didn't you already make a video about this? Yes, I'm remaking this for two reasons. One, I didn't like the quality of that. That's when I was still trying to figure things out. And two, it's a topic that's now more relevant than ever. And I really think it's what differentiates a great agent, a great experience, and a bad agent and a bad experience. So I want to make sure that this is one of my top quality videos. So that video is now gone. Say bye-bye to it. Rest in peace. And I want to remake this video for any potential future people who found my channel, or if you already saw this video in the past, maybe for you to kind of get a fresh perspective. So this market can be a little harsh for people who are looking to not only get a good deal, but more or less first-time home buyers that don't necessarily have a lot of funds to work with. And of course, there's a market where there's like all these houses that are nice, but they sell really quick and right away. So once you find the right home for you and you've been looking for who knows how long, you're ready to make an offer. Well, before you do that, you or your agent should find out the preliminary data of what's going on with this property. How long has it been on the market for? Has it been listed with another agent? What's the last time that it sold? What did it sell for? Find out all this information to get a better idea and perspective of where the seller is coming from. If it's only one day on the market and it had 20 business cards on the kitchen table, then it's probably showing you that it has high interest, the price is either just right or a little bit low, and it's probably gonna sell soon. So find out all that information, and if you're an agent, I would recommend you call the listing agent and just have a conversation about the motivation of the seller. A lot of times sellers don't want to tell you a lot, but you can at least find out why they're looking to sell, you know, what are they trying to accomplish, when do they need to be moved out by. Find out all that information to A, build rapport, and B, just get a better idea of how to get the offer accepted. And once we find that, we can find out who has the leverage in this transaction. So leverage is the key when it comes to having an offer accepted. And if you know what your leverage situation is and you act accordingly to that, you have a higher chance of getting an offer accepted. Let me explain. If the house has been on the market for 150 days, let's not be so drastic. Let's say it's been on the market for 90 days. I had an offer once 2 months ago, but it fell out. Really nothing much is happening. The house is, not too pretty, but you can tell it has the potential. And once again, there's no current offers on the table. Well, who has the leverage in the situation? You do. The buyer has absolute leverage when it comes to this. So let's just say this house is going for 210. Well, if we have the leverage, then we could definitely do something along the lines of maybe make an offer slightly under list price or under list price. Let's just say 200, 205. And on top of that, if you need closing costs, which a lot of people do, well, then you can try to get the entire closing costs paid for. Maybe you can ask for 6 or 7 grand. Who knows, you can even offer 205 and then on top of that ask for 7 grand. You're asking a 5 grand under list price, and you're also asking for a lot of closing costs. So you have the right to do this, you have more leverage, and now just make sure that there's no other offers on the table, and I think it's the right move in this situation. Now if it's in the situation like I was talking about earlier where you saw the house the first day it's on the market, there's a lot of showings, the agent called and is telling you that, hey, there's already 4 offers on the table. Well, in this situation, who has the leverage? Well, you don't really have much leverage. It's the seller of the situation. It doesn't mean you shouldn't fight for it. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get a good deal. It just means that you're going to have to act accordingly. So if you have no leverage in this situation, why would it make, let's just say it's a house going for 220. Why would you make an offer at 210 and ask for closing cost? That's like 10 grand under list price, and on top of that asking for an additional 6, 7 grand. They're just gonna laugh at your face, especially when they have multiple offers. So if you ask for list price and you ask for 6 grand under list for closing costs, they're really gonna net under list price. So this is a situation where it might make sense to make an offer above list price, maybe 5 grand, maybe 10 grand. If there's multiple offers in a situation, the market's telling you that this house is a little bit underpriced. So don't be afraid of making a good offer when the house is good enough, right? So the house is beautiful, you love it, go for it. So find out where you are when it comes to leverage. Now, it might not be as clear as I'm saying either you have no leverage or above leverage. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. Maybe you do have some leverage to play around with, but they also have some leverage to play around with. Figure out where you are and make your offer accordingly. Most of the time you don't have much leverage. Let's just say you're on the side where a house has multiple offers, or it's been a week or two and maybe you have some leverage but not too much. So if we're gonna talk about that, this is what I always tell people. make your best offer up front. A lot of people always want to play the game. You know, they see these movies on HGTV where they offer 5 or 10, 20 grand on the price. If there's multiple offers on the table, don't play games. Do you love this house? Yes. Okay, what's your best offer? What's the offer that's gonna make you say, this is the greatest offer, and if it doesn't get accepted, I'm okay because I tried my best. A lot of times that's 5 grand above list price. A lot of times that's 10 grand above list price. If you're gonna make a above list price offer, well then try to get some closing cost out of it, right? So it makes a good impression to the seller when they know that you just saw their home and an hour or that evening they have an offer on the table. It shows them that you were serious, you love the home, and it just leaves a good impression. It also makes a good impression when you start up with a good offer. A lot of times sellers are emotional because they're getting rid of the home their kids grew up in or their kids have grown up in or whatever. When they see an offer that's like pleasant to look at up front, where maybe they have to counter a few things, not a lot, that's a good sign. And if they already have one, a good experience of you having to go look at it and made an offer right away, and two, you made an actually good offer, that's already, that's like an emotional transaction. So they're already looking at you as a positive feeling and they're gonna go for you, hopefully. If you need closing costs, it's okay to ask for them. But here's what I'm telling people nowadays, especially in this market, if there's multiple offers or you know the house is great and you know there's a situation, it's okay to ask for closing costs. But I think as we progress into this new age of real estate, it's getting less likely to get 100% of your closing costs paid for. And I'm not just saying that because I'm just, you know, throwing out random quotes. I'm saying that because in my actual experience helping first-time home buyers in a decent price point, a lot of times we're getting maybe 2%, maybe half of the closing costs paid for. And that's just the reality of the situation. Sometimes buyers use a first-time home buyer program, yeah, and they maybe aren't paying a down payment, but if we get 2% of closing costs, you have to come up with 1%, maybe 2 grand, right? So that's just the reality. That's what I'm seeing, is it's becoming less often to get the entire closing costs paid for and find a nice house. Sure, if you find an ugly house, you can maybe get your closing costs paid for, but I'm not seeing that as often anymore. And this last piece of advice isn't really for you guys because you guys really can't see it, but for an agent. So you want to make sure you're professional in your offer. When you're making an offer, have it filled out accordingly, have it typed out. Don't have it handwritten. Make a good impression. Be professional when you speak to them. Be professional in the offer. Just sprinkle in some details about the buyer and how much they love the home and how they've been looking forward to yada, yada, yada on the email. Really try and make a good impression with your offer. I've had some situations where maybe we're not the best offer, but because my offer was professional, it was fully filled out, we paid attention to the details the seller requested on the MLS and we added it on our offer. We had everything signed, initialed, we just focused on the details. They went with our offer because even though they had a higher offer, it was sloppy, and that shows how that agent works, and they don't want to work with the sloppy agent. They saw our offer was professionally more courteous, more typed out, more written, just better presentation. They went with ours even though they're going to net a little less. The impression you make matters, and if you as a buyer have been working with an agent and you really obviously you can't see when they make an offer, you've been maybe making multiple offers and you haven't got anything, my recommendation to you is ask your agent to blind copy you on the email when they send the offer to the seller or the listing agent. Now this is maybe a little intrusive, but if you feel your agent's not doing a good job, I mean, then do that, right? A lot of times my clients don't have to worry about that because I get them results. But if you're having, maybe you have a feeling that something's not being done right, ask your agent to blind copy you on the offer. After doing all this stuff, if they take your offer, great. If you had an offer above list price, don't feel bad. There's still gonna be an appraisal done on the property. They're still gonna make sure that the actual value of the home is what you offered. The bank's not just gonna be like, hey, you offered 20 grand above list price, great, here's the money. Regardless of what price you buy it at, they're gonna send a third-party appraisal to verify the value of the property. If the property doesn't come in at the appraised price you offered, well, guess what? You're gonna have to negotiate with the seller to make it work. And guess what? They're negotiating with you, not with any of the other buyers. They're negotiating with you. So odds are they're gonna make it work with you because they don't wanna go back on the market. They're already packed, they're ready to get moving. And if they have to sell it less, then it is what it is, right? So most of the time, a confident agent will be able to help you negotiate the appraisal if it comes in low. If you don't get an offer accepted, well, here's the situation. If you did everything I recommended, that agent's gonna remember your name, your agent's name. Maybe the offer doesn't work out. Well, guess who they're calling first? They go, hey, guess what? We wanna go with you guys, the offer didn't work out. Perfect. Because you did a good job and you left a good impression with them, you have a higher chance of them reaching out to you before they even, if something were to happen. And that's it, guys. I hope this video helps you in managing this crazy market right now of getting your offer accepted. If you have any personal questions or anything I can help you with, you can always reach me in my email, which is found below in the description. And of course, if you are in Phoenix, Arizona and you're looking for a real estate agent to help you buy or sell, I would love if you would consider me. All my details and info are found below. And that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time. If you are not in Arizona, you need an agent, well, reach out to me and I can see if I can hook you up with somebody. So thank you guys. Have a great day.